ॐ य एकवर्ण बहुधा शक्तियोगात् वर्णाननेकान् निहितार्थदधाति विचैति चान्ते विश्वमादौ स देवः स नो बुद्ध्या शुभया संयुनक्तु। He who is one and who dispenses the inherent needs of all peoples and all times, who is in the beginning and the end of all things, may he unite us with the bond of truth, of common fellowship, of righteousness.
Good evening. That was Saugata Banerjee, class of 1975, reciting the shlok. And now we have Gargi Patel and Antara Roy Chaudhary presenting a dance depicting joy and celebration.
আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, দিন রজনী কত অমৃত রস উথলি যায় অনন্ত গগনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে। পান করে রবি শশী অঞ্জলি ভরে, সদা দীপ্ত রহে অক্ষয় জ্যোতি। পান করে রবি শশী অঞ্জলি ভরে, সদা দীপ্ত রহে অক্ষয় জ্যোতি। নিত্য পূর্ণ ধরা জীবনে কিরণে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে।
Our chairperson, Mrs. Nirmala Billa's message. Your achievements fill me with pride. May our students always keep the name of our school shining bright.
Now, we have Ornesha Ganguly, class of 2012, with her rendition of Aha Ki Anondo, written and composed by Satyajit Ray, whose birth centenary is being celebrated this year.
আহা কি আনন্দ আকাশে বাতাসে আহা কি আনন্দ আকাশে বাতাসে শাখে শাখে পাখি ডাকে কত শোভা চারিপাশে শাখে শাখে পাখি ডাকে কত শোভা চারিপাশে আহা কি আনন্দ আকাশে বাতাসে আজকে মোদের বড়ই সুখের দিন আজ ঘরের বাঁধন ছেড়ে মোরা হয়েছি স্বাধীন আজ ঘরের বাঁধন ছেড়ে মোরা হয়েছি স্বাধীন আহা হয়েছি স্বাধীন আজ আবার মোরা ভবঘুরে মুলুক ছেড়ে যাব দূরে আবার মোরা ভবঘুরে মুলুক ছেড়ে যাব দূরে করব ভুবন গানের সুরে ধরব ভুবন গানের সুরে পুরানো দিনের কথা আসে মনে পুরানো দিনের কথা আসে মনে আসে ফিরে আসে আহা কি আনন্দ আকাশে বাতাসে শাখে শাখে পাখি ডাকে কত শোভা চারিপাশে আহা কি আনন্দ আকাশে বাতাসে
Our dear Mrs. Wilson D. Rose's message. Congratulations, dear girls, from across the miles. The three of us, Mrs. Wilson D. Rose, myself, and Mrs. Nirmala Billa, at the Golden Jubilee celebrations. This was the last big occasion on which Mrs. Wilson D. Rose was with us in school.
I would now request our director, Mrs. Kaur, to address the gathering.
Namaskar. Welcome to all those who have joined us virtually as we at Modern High School for Girls Kolkata felicitate two of our distinguished alums. Our chairperson, Mrs. Nirmala Billa, has logged in from Hyderabad. She has looked after our school through its 70 years of existence. We are happy that she is with us on this joyous occasion. For some years, we have been felicitating selected students for their contribution in different fields. Till date, 30 of them have been felicitated. Last year, Anita Bhatia of the UN was our awardee. This year, our awardees are Nandini Rai Ni Bhattacharya and Sharmila Ghosh Sinha. The 29th of July has been specially chosen for this occasion. It is because it happens to be Mrs. Wilson D. Rose's birthday. I know that our past students of her time will be delighted to hear this. Happy birthday, Mrs. Wilson D. Rose, if you're watching from Illinois. And before you start wondering why I'm using the term alum instead of alumni, I'd better explain. It's because alum is a gender-neutral term. I will be deviating from my introductory address this year. I will not boast about our great galaxy of brilliant alums. I will not talk about what perfect role models they make for our current students. And I will not comment on the absence of a politician among the many scholars, writers, doctors, scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, and bureaucrats among our past students. Rather, I will be talking about the times that our awardees were in school. In the late 70s and early 80s, they had no computers, no mobile phones, there was no internet. Certainly, there was no Google Classroom or Zoom platforms. They studied from books and they wrote with a pen or a pencil. Their teachers educated them through various activities and through chalk and talk. The lesson here is that more than the tools of education, it is the mind and the heart of the teacher that matter. Your school teachers who are still around must be truly proud of you wonderful women. You keep bringing glory to your alma mater. And so it stands tall today in its platinum year, and it still teaches its students to walk in the path of truth, beauty, and compassion. Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
Amita Prasad of the class of 1978 will be introducing our first awardee of the evening, Dr. Nandini Ray Ni Bhattacharya, who was just a year junior to her in school. Apart from being the head girl, Anita was, from all accounts, quite the star pupil of MHS. In fact, she has a brilliant academic record. She's also a much loved and much admired former teacher of our school. Amita is the author of several books, of which is a series of excellent history textbooks which are widely read. Amita Prasad is now director of the Indus Valley World School, Kolkata. Over to you, Amita.
Good evening, and thank you, Mrs. Kaur, for that warm introduction and for giving me the honor to introduce someone so special at this felicitation ceremony. Nandini Ray belonged to the higher secondary class of 1979. Her batchmates remember her as being very studious and diligent in her work. But at the same time, she had a different side to her personality. All her friends comment on her being warm and friendly and on her terrific sense of humor. Her skills as a mimic would leave her friends rolling on the floor in splits, a talent which is only rivaled by her skill in the operation theatre. In 1984, she went to the Calcutta Medical College where she completed her MBBS. She then went to London where she became a member of the Royal College of Ophthalmologists in 1990. The following year, she became a fellow of the Royal College of Ophthalmologists. She spent about 8 years in the UK working as senior house officer in the Department of Ophthalmology in different hospitals in London and Newcastle. Thereafter, she worked as registrar ophthalmology in the Whipps Cross Hospital, London. She returned to Calcutta in 1996 and soon made a name for herself as a specialist in cataract and glaucoma surgery. Her special area of interest is in phacosurgery, and she has performed a staggering 18,000 phacosurgeries till date, the largest number in Eastern India. This is no mean achievement for a girl who lost her father when she was only 24 and had to go through an uphill struggle to establish herself as a first generation doctor. Her success as a surgeon brought her several awards, including the Aparajita Award in 2012 in the field of healthcare. She was awarded the IIRSI Special Gold Medal in 2016 for her proficiency in her field of work. However, Nandini did not rest on her laurels, and to keep abreast of technological advances in surgery, she trained in various laser assisted cataract surgery techniques. Her skill as a surgeon brought her success and fame, and her list of patients reads like a directory of the who's who of Kolkata, from the world of films, music, industry, the arts, and politics. Performing such delicate surgery on celebrity patients requires, in Nandini's own words, nerves of steel. Nandini has a keen interest in academic pursuits and has actively participated in state and national academic meetings and conferences where she has presented papers and videos of surgeries she has performed. She also travels to conferences in Europe every year to keep herself informed of the latest developments in her field, and her surgical videos have been accepted by the European Society of Cataract and Refractive Surgeons, the ESCRS, at Paris, Vienna, and Milan. Nandini is a woman of varied interests. She enjoys traveling, music, cooking, films, and swimming. She is a member of the Rotary Club of Calcutta and of the Ladies Study Group. She is also a member of the Indian Women Network, an organization that works towards women's empowerment. Nandini is married to Dr. Obrojit Rai, a senior consultant rheumatologist in Kolkata. Her daughter Minakshi has completed her post-graduation in dental surgery from the Royal College of Surgeons, Edinburgh, and her son Abhishek has recently graduated as a doctor from the Sri Ramachandra Medical College, Chennai. Despite a very busy professional life, Nandini is an extremely family-oriented person. She lovingly looks after her 83-year-old bedridden mother and maintains an immaculate home where everything is done to perfection. Modern High School for Girls is proud to felicitate Dr. Nandini Rai as a distinguished alum.
Thank you, Mrs. Prasad. Now I request our principal, Mrs. Damayanti Mukherjee, to present the award to Nandini. Nandini, would you like to say a few words now?
Thank you so much, Amita, for this wonderful introduction. Respected Chairperson, Mrs. Nirmala Birla, Director, Mrs. Devi Kaur, Principal, Mrs. Damayanti Mukherjee, teachers, fellow alums, students, classmates, and friends. I'm truly overwhelmed with pride, privilege, and humility for this honorable felicitation from Modern High School for Girls. It is an institution which has left an unforgettable impression on me. At the very start, I would like to mention that I studied only for 2 years at Modern High School, class 11 and 12. On account of my father's transferable job in ICI, I happen to have studied in 6 schools since nursery. This makes me rather envious of all my classmates who have shared a much closer bond and camaraderie with the friends they have grown up with. However, needless to say, the jewel in my schooling crown was undeniably MHS with its ambitious and committed faculty. With every passing month during those 2 crucial years, I realized what a great educational institution MHS was, instilling in her students quality academia, extracurricular interests, morals, character building, confidence, and poise. This great institution left its undeniable stamp on my impressionable mind, helping me realize my dreams of becoming a doctor. With a grueling syllabus, working towards the joint entrance left me with very little time for the huge opportunity the school otherwise gave her students in extracurricular activities. Although I did take part in elocution competitions and was rather adept at one time at playing the harmonica. MHS helped me with the great in-depth education. It instilled in me the confidence and the self-belief I needed to succeed. I have fond memories of iconic teachers like Mrs. Sudeshna Bakchi, Mrs. Chanda Bose, Mrs. Neena Singh, the charismatic and beautiful librarian, Mrs. Shukriya Roy, my ever helpful and patient Hindi teacher, Mrs. Issar, my brilliant chemistry teacher, Mrs. Amna Alexander, and of course, my favorite beloved biology teacher, Mrs. Leena Mukherjee, who, God bless her, indulgently took one look at my dissected and labeled cockroach, pinned down mercilessly on a wax board in class 12, and announced loudly and meaningfully to the class, "Girls, this is what I mean by dissection. I am sure this girl, Nandini here, will be a surgeon someday." Looking down with tremendous pride at my mangled remains of what was an intact cockroach, I felt I had performed complicated open heart surgery. MHS was able to create in its pupils the quality of empathy, tolerance, honesty, and above all, humanity, which have helped me in becoming the doctor, the healer I believe I am today. After graduating from the prestigious Calcutta Medical College in 1984, soon thereafter, I sadly lost my father at the age of 24. My family was devastated. It felt as if my whole world was collapsing in on itself. My life had hit rock bottom. I would have given anything to bring him back. However, that experience gave me the kind of clarity with everything around me that I had to forge a new path, which was more focused on meaning and service. My mother, Mrs. Mandira Bhattacharya, followed on with my father's dream of me pursuing further education in England, as my father, the late Dr. B.K. Bhattacharya, had always been a stellar student, a gold medalist chemical engineer from Manchester University and a gold medalist doctorate in organic chemistry from the Imperial College London. My mother was a fervent believer in that the higher education and empowerment of women was necessary. She strongly encouraged her children to be professionally qualified, financially independent, and to excel in their careers. After 7 years in the UK, training to be an ophthalmologist, I decided to return to Kolkata in 1996, as my husband and I had elderly parents to look out for, and started private work in hospitals like Fortis Medical Centre, which was previously Wockhardt, Woodlands Hospital, and my very own Radiant Eye Foundation. As a first-generation doctor, it was certainly not easy to establish oneself in a standalone practice. Those who know me will agree that the journey in my career path has certainly not been smooth. But Steve Jobs had famously said, "Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition." And I did just that. For all the young students who are about to leave this great institution on the verge of flying out to find your own calling, I would like to remember what Oprah Winfrey had famously said, that life was not about finding the single big break, but rather about taking small transformative steps. Realize you all have the education, the stellar education from MHS, to fly out and conquer the world and face those battles with major problems like climate change, racism, sexism, religious bigotry, massive economic disparities, and of course, the global pandemic. I have always believed that striving towards a difficult and seemingly impossible goal requires a very strong impetus and influence. And for me, that has always been my mother's voice telling me, "You can do this. The system will take care of you." I remembered these words as I stepped onto that aircraft, taking me to London all alone and against all odds in 1987 to take the PLAB exam and to start my post-graduation training. Since I'm an ophthalmologist, I would like to end by saying, thank you, Modern High. Thank you to all my teachers, my family, my mother, my sister, for giving me the hindsight to see that I could, the foresight to see that I should, and finally, the vision to see that I can. Thank you so very much. I'm indebted always. Jai Hind.
We now have Miss Anna Alexander, currently a teacher at our school, with her rendition of Hall of Fame, a song written by Danny O'Donoghue that celebrates perseverance and the capacity to make a difference. While the song is being sung, the portraits of all the alums who have been felicitated till now will be shown.
You can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be King Kong banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the wall. You can talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name, 'cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name. You'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers,
Introducing Shormila Ghosh-Sinha, the second awardee of the evening, is her friend and batchmate Monica Khosla Bhargav, class of 1984. Monica is an architect, urban designer, author, theoretician, vlogger, floral artist, certified floral national judge, and national speaker. She founded her design practice, Calm Consultants, in 1992 and Spark, an NGO geared towards urban rejuvenation, in 2008. Monica.
Thank you, Mrs. Kaur. I feel so proud to be here today and even more proud to introduce my classmate and our distinguished alum, Sharmila Ghosh Sinha, better known to all of us as Mona. Mona joined MHS in Upper Infants, and although her family was frequently transferred outside Calcutta, she came back here both in class 2 after a year's break and then again in class 6 after being away for 2 years. Her commitment to Modern High always remained strong, culminating in her being our head girl. I remember her as Rose House captain, a prefect, monitress, holding most every leadership position that school could offer her. Mona continues to be a leader in the world as a champion for women and marginalized communities. She uses the skills she honed as a banker and financial restructuring expert to help social change organizations grow and become sustainable so that their impact can be long lasting. In India, she has worked with fellow alum Ruchira Gupta at Apne Aap and helped break through a human rights organization to grow. She and her family have also spent many summers here in Kolkata working with Future Hope. Globally, she has transformed over 50 organizations. Today, she is head of the Equal Rights Amendment work in the US, making sure that women have a place in the Constitution and their right to safety, education, health, legal rights, and economic agency are protected by the law. She's also chair of a unique group called Women Moving Millions that resources feminist movements across the world. She has catalyzed over $1 billion for social change. She's executive producer of a widely acclaimed documentary called Disclosure, which released on Netflix in 2020. So do watch it if you haven't. Mona is a distinguished alum of Smith College and Columbia University who call upon her leadership to serve on her governing boards and advisory boards. She works at the intersection of gender and justice, and her experience is invaluable. Mona has received many honors for her work, but most importantly for us, Mona is a good friend. She's always willing to lend a helping hand and guide our children who want to study abroad. We always meet up and have lots of fun together when she comes to Kolkata. Her own family consists of her husband, Ravi, who's also from Kolkata, and her 3 children, Rohan, Anya, and Ria, plus Charlie Brown and Leo, the family's golden retrievers. We as her classmates cannot be more proud to honor our friend. We saw her leadership shine at school and now watch as it spreads across the globe. Over to you, Mrs. Kaur.
I now call upon Mrs. Damayanti Mukherjee to present the award to Sharmila. Sharmila, will you now say a few words?
Namaste, Modern High School from New York City, where it's morning. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from. I am deeply honored and humbled to be recognized by my alma mater, and especially in the company of Dr. Nandini Ray, who is the best of the best in her field. Deepest gratitude to Mrs. Birla, Mrs. Carr, Mrs. Mukherjee, and for the entire modern high school community who is joining us today. And of course, most of all, thank you to my dear friend Monica for that beautiful introduction. Today is a special day. As Mrs. Carr said, it is Mrs. Wilson DeRose's 94th birthday. Mrs. Wilson DeRose was a fearless leader who guided us when we were students at Modern High School, and I remember her with fondness to this day. So let's all wish her a very, very, very happy birthday and many congratulations. I've received many honors over the years, but this one is especially meaningful because it marks the start of a lifelong journey. Growing up in Calcutta, I learned about the importance of seeing beyond what is right in front of you. Because at age 12, in sixth grade, I was invited by Modern High to take our knitted and needlework products to Shishu Bhavan, the orphanage which was founded by Mother Teresa and her Sisters of Charity. And that started a long journey of volunteering there until I graduated from high school. And when I went there, I would always wonder why there were so many girls of all ages. And as time went by, I realized the hard truth that the baby boys at that time were adopted first because Indian society valued them more. As a child, I often felt the sting of being the third girl in my family. I know my parents missed having a son, and I felt weirdly responsible as the last child. And I speak of this as underlying experiences that pivoted me to do the work that I do today in strengthening women leaders and championing gender justice. This determination was further honed when I came to Smith College to study, and I was supported by dynamic women, really continuing a legacy that was started at Modern High School. And today, I think we have to acknowledge that we live in very strange times. The global pandemic that we are all experiencing has not discriminated who it touches, but we all know that women have suffered disproportionately. As children have pivoted to school from home, and family support has been disrupted because of isolation, women have really borne the brunt of childcare, their own work from home, managing the care of sick relatives. And we see in the US that an extraordinary number of women have dropped out of the economy. And no doubt we will witness this across the world. As a result, as well, child marriage and violence against women are at a terrifying all time high. Yet, during this time, we have all received the gift of renewed perspective, or perhaps a new appreciation of what we always knew to be true. I would love to share three such gifts with you all. First, I so appreciate the importance of community. Modern High School was a space where I learned about leadership. As Monica mentioned, I had every leadership opportunity as a monitress, prefect, house captain of Rose House, and finally head girl. I felt so supported by my teachers and my friends. And whenever I left Kolkata for other cities or other countries, I would come back to this sacred space, knowing that I could just dive right back in. For me as a head girl, it was really enabling me to think about what was best for our school and what it meant to represent Modern High School at inter-school competitions and debates. And I remember how well I was coached by Mrs. Supriya Roy and Mrs. Chanda Bose, who helped me deliver endless number of speeches and develop arguments for debate. And of course, the community of friends is irreplaceable. Childhood friends like Poonam Lakhanpal, Mondira Shorkar, Nandini Sen were always just a phone call away and remain so to this day. And as I have returned to Kolkata to visit family, I have so enjoyed reconnecting with many other friends. Monica, Sangeeta, Indrani, Sujata, Sharbani, just to name a few of the 55 of us who still remain on WhatsApp and communicate every single day. And in the US, I've connected with many of our friends as well. Our community of teachers taught us so much. I learned about the magic of words from Miss Lewis in sixth grade as she taught us to explore all of our senses while writing and speaking. I really believe that my love of finance came from the math challenges that were presented by Mrs. Narayan Swamy, Mrs. Malik, and Mrs. Ranganathan, which led to my early career on Wall Street and then in restructuring businesses. And during this time, as we've been alone, we've learned how to build community over Zoom and FaceTime, just like we're doing right now. And the connectedness of this community is invaluable. The second gift I want to share is the appreciation of solitude. Being alone, especially during this time, may not feel like a gift, but there's much to be learned about introspection, particularly when we are venturing into something new. And despite the feeling of being alone, we can dive into the excitement and curiosity as we understand that our essential loneliness can only be discovered by us, and that we can contribute to a common ground and cease to be alone once we understand that. I myself have rediscovered many books. I've appreciated the knitting and needlework lessons that Mrs. Chawar taught us. And as I have delved into profound thinking to solve problems that have been presented to me, it has helped me engage with issues and share them with like minded people. And as we envision a new reality, our creativity and deep thinking will be so important to imagine an equal world. The third gift derives from the essence of new discoveries. It's being able to appreciate the beauty of incompleteness, which is about knowing and not yet knowing what moves you, what challenges you, what brings you joy. Each one of us needs to give ourselves some space to be able to explore that, to build relationships with unexpected and joyful, expansive groups of people. That's how the real you emerges. It's discovering what your values are outside of what other people expect of you. If we are curious, we can be lifelong learners, challenging ourselves to explore new realms that we may not ever have imagined. That's how I produced Disclosure, which explores the misrepresentation of trans people and has had over 5 million views on Netflix. So hearing Mrs. Carr use gender neutral pronouns truly makes my heart sing. You may wonder how I made that pivot into social change after a career on Wall Street, from mergers and acquisitions to working at a Fortune 100 company. Whoever goes into social change? After many years of corporate work, I created my own career. As I served on the board of Breakthrough Human Rights Organization, I realized that any financial or structural intervention I would recommend was met with deep appreciation. And I came to realize that my skills could help fierce warriors of justice build organizations and raise funds to make that work sustainable for generations to come. So I self-designed my work at the nexus of finance and justice, which for me was a perfect blend of passion and purpose. My colleagues, my friends, my family, my parents were all confused. Why would I not follow a traditional career path? The truth is, I am happiest when I uncover the fundamental shifts that could take an organization from a small grassroots movement into a powerful social model for social change. And that's what I have done for several decades now, and I don't know where the time has gone. Gender justice is my focus, as Monica said. The pandemic especially has highlighted the disparities at the intersection of gender, race, and economic standing. Systemic inequalities have deprived women and our economy, therefore, of trillions of dollars of unrealized productivity. But most important, it's taken away women's agency over their own lives. One of my projects is to codify the Equal Rights Amendment into the American Constitution, which will make things like equal pay and freedom from violence a reality for women and marginalized communities. So I invite you to ask yourself, what is your vision of an equal world? And what are your values and what can you do? You've had a wonderful education at Modern High School, where your brain has been challenged to think, question, write, find solutions. You've been held to a very, very high academic standard. As alums, you have access to a widespread network of women who stand by to support you. So use the power. Use the power and intuition that you possess to create a world that you can be proud of leaving for the next generation. We need a world that's created by feminists, both men and women, who understand the value of engaging all members of society at their highest and best level. who can listen and lean into radical listening, empathy, building community, and collaborating while also being data driven and impact driven. Today, my cousin Mayuki, as past head girl, and Sharbani's daughter Kuhu, both modern high school toppers, are carrying forward that flame of our beloved school. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for my parents who are here on the call today and my sisters. Thank you for letting me share my work and reflections with you today. I'm so immensely grateful to have had this opportunity. Thank you.
I would now request our principal, Mrs. Mukherjee, to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone, and heartiest congratulations to Nandini Ray, class of 1979, and Sharmila Ghosh Sinha, class of 1984. Sometimes the hero stumbles and falls right off the page. And sometimes the princess rolls her eyes and says, I don't want to be saved. Sometimes, if you don't get out there and define yourself, you will be quickly and inaccurately defined by others. Quote unquote, Michelle Obama. Sometimes glass ceilings need to be broken so that the warmth of the sun is felt in all its power. Every year, as we felicitate the iconoclasts of MHS, our heart fills with pride, and this year is no exception. Dr. Ray and Ms. Ghosh Sinha, you are true role models for modernites, present and future. We celebrate you as we celebrate your dexterity in your chosen fields and your determination to make success seem rather easy. May you remain blessed always. It is my pleasure to thank Mr. Postwala for the technical expertise that you brought to today's program. Thank you for being part of MHS family. Our alums are our joy and our strength. And I thank all of you who helped to design today's program. We are fortunate to be inspired and motivated by Mrs. Birla's enthusiasm for every school event, including today's virtual felicitation. Thank you so much, ma'am. We also thank our board members for their constant support. It is my honor to express our gratitude to Mrs. Wilson D. Rose. Your presence today is a gift that you have given to us on your birthday. Thank you, ma'am, and wish you good health always.
We have come to the end of this evening's program. I will request everyone to join in the school song.
O school in which we